Welcome back to the Final Fantasy Dimensions walkthrough, and rather than going to the mountains that are right in front of me, we're going to go left, and then we're going to try going north, and then we're going to end up going to the southeast and go to the Chocobo Forest. So, though that is the next area, that mountainous region there, you want to make sure and go to the Chocobo Forest here to the southeast, because they have black chocobos, and if you notice down here, there's a little bit of bedrock that you can fly over, which kind of leads back into this rivery area over here, and you can guess that this is probably going towards a summon, because it is going towards a summon. And as soon as we get into the cave, you'll immediately know which summon we're about to get. Give her a good save, and enter the cave. So, we are in the Cave of Perfervidity, which I have absolutely no idea what that word means. But we're getting Ifrit. I know in Final Fantasy XII they had a ship called Ifrit, but they called it the Ifrit. So I could be wrong in how it's pronounced, but I'm going to wallow in my ignorance and continue to say Ifrit. The enemies here aren't too bad. As you can imagine, they're mostly fire-based, and so you're going to be employing a lot of ice-based and water-based spells. Whatever you have on hand, use that. Put out those flames. Or Chocobo. I think this is about the time where I got really excited about Chocobo because he's cheap and I wanted to level up my summoner. The little yellow spots on the ground there, they will hurt you. As will these unicorn flame queen. That's kind of funny. Flame queen? Oh. I wonder if that's some kind of a spin-off of the word like equestrian or something. I don't know, that's weird. Flame queen. I've never heard that either. That's a mashup of a couple different words or something that I've never seen. So this whole dungeon is based around you pulling these little strings, and in most cases they don't create new staircases. Instead, they will stop the flow of lava. So you can see down there was stairs that led down into the lava pits. So if you can get that lava drained, you can walk down there. And I have heavily edited this piece of the game. I've taken out tons and tons of fights, but also, for some odd reason, I found it very difficult to navigate this dungeon, and that's unfortunate because it's not that complicated. It just was for me and my poor inadequate brain. I ended up walking around it several times trying to figure out what to do after I'd already stopped the lava. So hopefully this all makes sense because I edited it very strongly to try to make it all make sense and make it look like I was walking to the right place at the right time, rather than just walking around in circles for like a half an hour. So here we go. I think this is the first pull where we start to slow the lava down. Pull some of it. There we go. And then there's like 2 or maybe even 3 more of those that we gotta pull. And then it stops the flow of lava down by where Ifrit actually is. Make sure you're leveled up here. You just kind of got a quick glimpse of my levels. You might want to go back there and check that out. You will get in a lot of fights in this dungeon, and if you plan on playing them all out, just make sure that you're conserving your mana appropriately. But also, the boss of this particular cave, Ifrit, he's no pushover. It's kind of a marathon fight if I remember correctly, and he's going to run you down pretty low on mana and health, and it was actually kind of a tricky fight for me. And it might be that I just wasn't quite leveled up enough to say that I'm kind of over-leveled, but who knows. I just found him to be a little bit more on the difficult side, not so much in managing strategy, just kind of hoping that I can last out the fight. I think after a while I just kind of got sick of trying to avoid those little lava spots on the ground. They don't damage you that much, and so I'm not sure exactly how much it's worth dodging them. Just make sure that you have a lot of health. As you can see, I hit a few of them. I think maybe they take away 10 HP from each of you guys. Ish. Yeah, this particular dungeon was very bad with the amount of random encounters that were in it. I think right here, yeah, so I just skipped a fight right there, and then 10 steps later, I got into another fight. Pretty crazy. Alright, so I think after this one, maybe so there's a total of 3 it looks like, you have to shut off, and then after all those, the lava shuts off. Oh, interesting. I actually ran from that battle there. You know, I did run from a few battles here, mostly because I was trying to conserve my mana pool for my casters, but I thought I had edited all those out. So apologies there, but that's a good tactic here to employ as well. Just start running from fights. If you can see, I've already got my my mana pools for my casters are in the double digits, which is not a good place to be. Another fight that I ran from. Maybe I was just keeping them in. Sometimes what I do when I edit these out is I'll just edit out every few. But yeah. There is a safe spot not too far up here after you get these treasure boxes here. The next little area that you walk into to the right, I think, has, I'm pretty sure that has a safe spot in it. One of these caves does. Either it's this one right here that's straight ahead of me, or it's the one down to the right. So these fire gigas, they start to show up when you're a little bit deeper into the cave. I think they don't show up until you've actually drained the lava pool. And that's where they first show up. Running again. It's funny, I'd say over the course of me playing, well, I guess I was wrong there. Me playing role-playing games, I never, well, I shouldn't say never. I hardly ever use running away. I used to when I was younger, maybe when I played, the first time I played Final Fantasy IV. I don't think I did it very often, but it's been more the case recently that I just fight the fights, because the games are usually designed for you to fight those fights, and then you'd level up the game. You'd level up as you go. Alright, so there's the save spot. So make sure to use any tents or cabins that you need to, because the boss is right after this part. You'll need to go out and kind of like walk around this little circle, and then there's Ifrit. Alright, and we're off. So with this fight, definitely use any ice magic that you have available, but also just make sure to take care of both your health and your mana. And it's kind of funny because that's kind of a duh factor, but it hasn't been in a lot of other boss battles. In a lot of other boss battles, the idea is to just nuke them as fast as you can, get it over with. This one's a little bit difficult, or a little, I'd say a little bit more tricky, just because if I remember correctly, it's a little more drawn out. Oh yeah, make sure you get yourself a little filling up the tank, just because you're gonna hit so many of these little lava pieces. I should say, pop off the tank on your HP. Alright, so here is Ifrit. And he's just gonna, it's pretty much just a non-stop hit you with fire spells. Definitely employ a couple different healers. What's difficult is that you like to be using Blizzard as much as possible, like I previously mentioned. But I'm pretty sure his damage output is so high that you end up needing to use Sylph just to keep up. It's also kind of dangerous to play the Dark Knight card, just because he's getting hit hard enough already. It's hard enough keeping his HP up. So there you go. He did kind of a double hit with Hellfire and his Fire Spell right afterwards, and took a significant chunk out of everybody's health. I think this is the part now where I probably just chain Sylph over and over again, which is a good strategy. It's actually kind of dumb what I'm doing. I don't actually like the strategy that I'm using. Right now I'm using my monk to heal up I'm using a triple healer. I'm using my monk to heal up my Dark Knight, and then using Dark Knight abilities. What I should do is just stop using Dark Knight abilities, just use Fight. There we go. It appears as though I've changed now. Just use Fight so I can use Fight on both of them and then stop the extra healing. That was dumb of me to do. And the unfortunate part here is that he's slowly wearing me down. I guess my mana pools are doing okay, but he just wears down that health ever so slowly. There we go, and he's dead. So kind of a close fight. I guess it wasn't as marathon as I thought it was, but it was a little more. It was a little closer than some of the other fights. And it's just because of his damage output. He does some serious damage. I'm not sure if we have Shell at this point of the game. That might be an interesting approach, is to use Shell. Protect from his fire spells. But now you have Ifrit. So, if you followed this guide, I think I got all the treasure boxes, and you can feel free to teleport whenever you want. I continued to go through the dungeon, or the cave, looking for more treasure boxes. I did end up finding any. So there's an interesting little edit here where you're going to see me enter the menu, and then when I leave the menu, I'm in a completely different location and I teleport out. It's just because of the way I edited it. I made it look like I was going into the menu and then teleporting out, but still looks a little funny. That's coming up here. I chose to go back to the save spot and save the game. You may choose just to exit the dungeon and then save outside. Part of the reason I'm back to the save spot is because I was planning on exploring a little farther to see if I missed any treasure boxes. So that's it for this particular piece. You now have Ifrit, and we're going to move on to the next area of the game. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, this has been Pixel Freak.